Tanya resides in New Jersey. She's a holistic recovery coach and a professional pranic healer, currently working towards her associate certified pranic healing certification. She's a strong supporter of the recovery community and a person in long-term recovery.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. It's so beautiful to be here. Let me just get my slides because now, I was told I have these beautiful slides I have to present. All right, can everyone see them? Awesome. Great. Thank you, everyone. And again, my name is Tanya, and I'm the founder of the Peace We Crave. That name came about because in recovery, as you'll hear in a little bit, yes, I wanted so many things, but I really craved peace in my life. I craved it. I didn't just need it or want it. Craved it in every sense of the word. So that's where that came from. And I'm really excited to talk about emotional sobriety today because that's my jam, everybody. So, as was said, I'm in New Jersey on the traditional lands of the Lenape people. I like to recognize that. Born and raised, never left. So, my accent will come out quite a bit here, and I will do my best for the translation to keep that in check. I do have over 12 years of continuous sobriety. I celebrated 12 years this past August, and that's a miracle. It's a miracle. I'm a miracle. Alcohol was my drug of choice. Alcohol use disorder is another way to say it. But I'm also in recovery from many things, as listed on the slide there: anxiety, trauma, PTSD, chronic pain, people-pleasing, perfectionism, and domestic violence. It's not just the alcohol for me, it's all the things after it. It's like all these things. And I'm also an energy healer, as was said. I teach meditation, certified holistic recovery and spiritual life coach, and I'm also an experienced group facilitator. And as was said, I'm working towards my associate certified pranic healer certification. So hint, hint, if you have a case, you'll get my contact information. So I'd love to work with whoever you may be able to send me. So let me get my next slide. Okay. So when I look at recovery and my addiction, I look at how addiction affected my life in four different ways, in these four buckets, if you will. My physical, my emotional, my mental, my spiritual. So physically, how alcohol affected me in active addiction is that I was constantly tired. I didn't have a lot of energy. I had all these cravings for this thing because when I wasn't using the alcohol, I was thinking about the alcohol. I was planning my life around the alcohol. Anything I did revolved around alcohol. If you didn't drink, I didn't hang out with you. It was my entire life. And I also had this crazy schedule because I was what some people call a high functioning alcoholic. I had the job, the car, the marriage, the paycheck. That if you looked at me, you would not think, "Oh, you're a drunk under the bridge over there." You wouldn't think that at all. And that's why that's why addiction is very, as said in other programs, cunning, baffling, powerful. This disease is so, if you call it a disease, it's so difficult to look at someone and say, "Oh, you have this thing." It's just not like that. So no one, when I came out as being this, no one knew. They were like, "Really, you?" But I had general feelings of just feeling like that all the time, and emotionally, I was all over the place. Feelings or just either drowned down by the alcohol or they would show up and I didn't know what to do. And I was angry. I hated you. I hated everybody around me. I hated myself. I hated everything. I just was so angry all the time. Although you didn't know it. You didn't know it. Mentally, I was nervous. I was scattered, unsure if I could trust my own thoughts. Imagine being there. And then spiritually, some programs talk about a hole in the soul, quote unquote, God hates me. I don't, why? No hope for me. Very, very void of spirituality when I was in active addiction. And I'm not going to read all these stats I have up here. I did put a website. This is drug abuse statistics.org. Most recent statistics they had on there for substance use disorder. And I won't read it to you, but you can see it is out there. It is affecting everybody. If you don't think it is, you're living under a rock. because it is out there and it is those numbers. And I've looked at those numbers over the years as of these 12 years I've been sober, and they keep going up and they're going up and they're going up. And this is just in America. I can't even imagine what it's like the rest of the world. So that will be on the recording if you want to look at those stats for yourself. But emotional sobriety. So when I first got sober, I thought just staying away from the alcohol was going to be the hard part. And in the beginning, it was 100% difficult. It's difficult to separate from a substance that you're physically addicted to. But once that physical addiction wears off, typically 30, 60, 90-ish days for most people, and you go through that physical detox, for me, it was like, now what? What do I do now? I have all these feelings. I don't know what's going on. And so I was sober, but I wasn't quite free. And I was still easily triggered. I was overwhelmed. I wasn't sure. So that's where this term emotional sobriety started coming in for me. And it's a term that comes from one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill Wilson. And it does refer to um, emotional sobriety as going beyond just the mere abstinence from alcohol or whatever your drug of choice may be. It's beginning to cultivate in the person what Bill described as that real maturity and balance in our relations with ourselves, with our fellows, and with God, God of your understanding. Its ability to live serenely and effectively in the world. And it's the real work of long-term healing in most recovery pathways. There's many, many, many different avenues of recovery. I did enter through a 12-step program of AA. I have since joined many, many other programs. She Recovers is a big program for me. There's Dharma, there's Refuge, there's Celebrate Life, I could go on. There's so many. And I'm sure there's many more over the world because I just know the ones in the United States. But really, this is to me, this is the real work in recovery is this emotional sobriety piece. So how can pranic healing help with this? I mean, that's why we're all here, right? So as many of us know, pranic healing works by scanning the energy body to find those imbalances. And then we cleanse out that stuck or negative energy. And then we energize and we stabilize the chakras. And to me, I think of this as like energetic hygiene for our chakra system. It's something that as was shared before by Darcy, it's something that I do my self healing. I do have to find someone to work on me. I need to find a professional to work on me because as much as I like to help other people, I also know that I need help in my recovery as well. And the issues are in its tissues, right? There are people that I forget where that term originated from, but it's all stuck in the body. It's negatively affecting our energy body. All those things are just stuck in there physically. And then for me, they were coming out emotionally. And also, I had a chronic pain condition as well after I did separate from the substance. So, energy healing of many sorts helped me with a lot of that. But I have found personally in my journey that pranic healing is the thing that really gets in there. And that's really because there's specific protocols for a lot of these things we've been talking about. So pranic healing can treat the underlying trauma. I think someone told me 9 out of 10 people in addiction recovery have some form of trauma, whatever that may be. Could be capital T trauma, little t trauma, and everything in the between. and 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 it's difficult with trauma, at least in my experience with it, because everybody comes through life with different lived experience. Every one of us on this call right now have come here from different avenues, different ways in the world, different lived experience. So your trauma is not the same as my trauma or their trauma or his or her trauma. It's all so different, so unique. But that's why chronic healing is so amazing because it'll know that and it'll get in there with all that and help you heal from that stuff. It's so cool. I really, really love it for that. And also treatment of stress, anxiety, depression, that those underlying mental health issues that come up when I separate from that substance and I'm like in that now what kind of phase, like Darcy was mentioning before. I didn't know so much of what the alcohol was covering up. I had maybe a little bit of an idea, but mostly I really, really wasn't sure. And then when I separated from the substance, it was just all there. And also physical issues. So When I'm in active addiction in my own recovery, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm not eating well. I'm not sleeping well. I'm not taking care of myself physically at all. So I ignored a lot of those things. And then when I come into recovery, now all those things are coming up. And pranic healing is a great way to help with that as well, because there's so many different protocols for what you may be experiencing. It's just so amazing. I just love it so much. So I'll end a bit with this case study. My client did not want her name shared, so I have her initials there. And she has shared with me that she has 23 years of continuous sobriety from alcohol and 8 years of sobriety from opioids. And that was as of yesterday when I spoke to her. So those numbers are still true. She also has years of trauma from religious and ritualized sexual assault all through her 20s and 30s. She was in a cult and she was able to get out of it. She's now 65 years old, and she will share in many meetings for the past only 2 or 3 years, she's actually been working through this trauma. So her first 60 years of life, let's say, she was not working on any of this and it was just building and building. And she separated from the substances, had a surgery after, separating from alcohol, had a surgery, and then got addicted to opioids as a result of that. So just because I put down one substance, other substances can also start to creep in with things that happen in life. So we completed three non-concurrent 40-minute pranic healing sessions with me over Zoom. I say non-concurrent because she would come to me sporadically. I couldn't get her on a schedule. I was doing healings in between as well, but we were face to face three specific times on Zoom. And she lives in Canada, so we've never actually physically met, but we've talked on Zoom many, many times. And the result, as she described to me, was she felt that she could finally exhale. So I did do a psychotherapy protocol with her. And it was the first time she felt like she could exhale in years. I mean, I've seen this person be so all over the place on meetings, and then after we were working together, I see this calmness in her, and it is she feels grounded. She feels reconnected with her creativity. She's an artist, and her art was suffering when she was in this trauma state after separating from all these substances. I could just start to cry. It was just such a beautiful thing to witness with her. Oh my gosh. So her art is just exploding. It's so beautiful. And during some of our sessions, she shared with me that she saw this um in her meditative state that she was in. She saw this like blackness coming out of her, like this darkness just coming out. And I'm getting chills as I'm expressing this to you because to me that's such a powerful representation of what pranic healing can do. Um, and then she also was seeing images of things that I won't share because it's very personal, that represented her sexual trauma. She saw these images kind of coming out, these symbols, and then they were going away. And she, at one point, was on a beach and it was going in the water and it was going away. And she was in various places, locations, and things were just coming out and going away. And I, it was just, to me, I think I sit here and I go, "Oh, I'm just this healer. I'm just one healer. How is this possible? How am I doing this for you?" And it's because pranic healing. It's because of what pranic healing can do for people. It's not me, right? It's the energy. And sometimes I get lost in the, oh, I can help fix people and all that kind of stuff. No, and it's the energy is doing it. Energy was doing it for her. And she is doing so well now. She is in um, therapy with a professional therapist working on a lot of this stuff as well. So she had a lot of professional support along with the healing practices that we were doing. Um, and she was engaging in meditation and many of the things that we talk about. Couldn't get her to do the twin hearts. I tried, but I did get her doing at least some things. And she does a lot of somatic work as well. So there's a lot of things that she uses in her recovery patchwork to keep herself on this journey of abstaining from substances and working through her trauma. So just to me a beautiful example as she continues to be on her journey. So in closing here, emotional sobriety, it's not a linear journey as was described before with active addiction. It's also not linear after we put the substance down. But when we combine these grounding practices and energy work like pranic healing, we can create a deeper space for healing and authentic joy in our lives. And I'll end with two. You have my contact information here, my website, my email. I'm on social media at the Peace We Crave. You can find me anywhere and everywhere. So together, I know we can move from emotional overwhelm to emotional freedom. Again, from struggling to living with clarity, purpose, and true peace. And I really just want to thank you all for allowing me to be here today.